Welcome to the newest episode of the Rice Crypto Show. Today, I have a warning and a challenge for everyone watching and listening to this video. I will also be sharing some clips which include a message from the President of Kenya, as well as my most recent appearance on Around the Blockchain this past Friday, March 24th, 2023. Before we get into it, take time to visit my website at ricetvx.com. There you can sign up for my mailing list so you can stay up to date on all things Rice. Once you've signed up for my mailing list, you will find links for my channels and socials towards the top of the website. Make sure you are subscribed to both of my YouTube channels, Rice Against the Grain and Rice TVX. If you want to support my work directly, as well as get early access, exclusive content for both channels, plus more, join my Patreon.
For the people who work numbers, I am giving you free advice that those of you who are holding dollars, you surely might go into losses. You better do what you must do, because this market is going to be different in a couple of weeks.
So that was the President of Kenya delivering a warning about the US dollar to the people of Kenya. And that definitely fits with today's video. I said I have a warning and a challenge. The warning: the United States and global banking system are a lot more fragile than you can imagine. If a small percentage of depositors were to withdraw their money in the United States, it would collapse the banks, the FDIC, and potentially the United States government. My challenge for everybody listening to this: unbank yourself or decouple yourself from the banks. Take away their power. Their power is our money, our currency that we put in the banks. So if you need to use a bank, I would encourage you to use a credit union. They fall under something completely different than the FDIC. I encourage you not to switch to a too big to fail bank, because that is exactly what they want to happen. This is all about problem, reaction, solution, consolidation. Be sure to watch my must-watch crypto playlist. It'll be linked down below and above, and I cover all this in greater detail. Only leave in the bank what you need to cover or pay your bills. Pull out the rest. You need to look at banking as the same as you would an investment. Never invest more than you're willing to lose. And in this case, never deposit more than you're willing to lose. It's going to be a lot easier for people to deposit money than to withdraw it. It may be a pain to go and deposit money, but it's going to be even that much more of a pain to withdraw your money. And I've covered this a lot in previous videos. Also on that must-watch crypto playlist. The other thing that I would encourage people to do, if you can afford to do this, is to completely unbank yourself and take all of your money out of any bank that you may be utilizing. Unbank yourself. Decouple yourself. So I will repeat, if you need to use a bank, use a credit union. Don't switch to too big to fail banks. Only leave in what you need to cover your bills. Take out the rest. Never deposit more than you're willing to lose. It's going to be easier for you to deposit than withdraw. And this is happening around the world. Or I encourage you to get everything you have out of the bank. I wouldn't even encourage people to leave anything valuable in a safety deposit box. At this point, I would encourage you to hold it. The message that the President of Kenya shared with the citizens of Kenya, I believe there's more to it. We may be seeing a strategic stop on the US dollar by all the rest of the nations of the world in the coming weeks. And if that happens, that means the US dollars all around the world are going to flood back to the United States. And that, in addition to all of this printing that the Federal Reserve is doing to backstop banks, could really potentially, quite possibly, lead to hyperinflation, which I've talked a lot about on my channel. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is share the next part of today's video. This was from my recent appearance on Around the Blockchain from this past Friday, March 24th, 2023. And I pretty much said some of the same things that I said just a few moments ago. But I wanted to say what I just said to put everything out in a very cohesive manner. And now I encourage you to enjoy this clip that I'm going to be sharing from Around the Blockchain, and I will have the full episode linked down below in the video description, and I encourage you to check that full episode out.
Who knows who this is? Some say it might be Rice TVX. We can't tell. It is that telltale brick wall. Rice TVX, how are you doing today?
I'm getting prepared for the apocalypse, my friend. The end is coming. It is nigh. It is going Mad Max style, and I am preparing myself.
And that's not to cover his face, just to block out the dust, because, you know, it's going to be like the water world, but only dust. Mad Max, just like you said. Well, one, Rice, what are your thoughts on, you know, Jim Cramer? Is this his honest opinions? Is he maybe being fed these opinions? And secondly, with these risks to these banks, are you taking any precautions? Like the first person said, are you, you know, maybe diversifying or buying some Bitcoin? Or are you taking any steps at the moment?
Taking many steps. Jim Cramer, what I would say about him is, just one word, is puppet. The media, all media institutions, all companies are controlled by a small conglomerate of companies above them, and we know who controls them. So they control the narrative. We've seen this over the years. We've seen different sort of memes happening where you have different newscasters in different areas, and they match them up, and they're all saying the same thing. They're all puppets, all of them. Jim Cramer is a joke. Another one word would be clown. Now, this is all by design, all by design. And what I said in a recent video was problem, reaction, solution, and consolidation. Because right now, that's what this is all about. The Federal Reserve knew exactly what was going to happen to smaller banks by raising interest rates. So they were looking like they were trying to save the Americans from the inflation that they caused, while at the same time trying to wipe out smaller banks to consolidate, to get this down to a few, to the ones that are in the club. Because again, this is all by design, and there is no reason for these individuals. From 2020, you had the FDIC making videos talking about your money is safe, because there was talks about bank runs then. All these banks that we're talking about, Deutsche Bank in particular, has been having problems for numerous years. They're keeping it propped up because, as far as I'm aware, I think it's the largest holder of derivatives in the world. So it plays a very, very important piece in the financial game. And if it was to tumble, it would probably be the domino to really fully bring it down. Now, I'm sure there's been precautions that have been made, you know, for that factor, but all those assets will probably be getting assimilated by another bank, like what we saw happen with Credit Suisse and USB. Again, problem, reaction, solution, consolidation. What I would really encourage people, I mean, I've talked about Bitcoin, crypto, gold, silver, barter abilities, but the one thing that I really want to get people to share with others is this: take everything out of your bank that you don't need. Even if 50% of America just withdrew everything that they didn't, that they, you just leave enough for whatever you have to cover for your bills and withdraw all of that money, we would stress this banking system out. Or if you want to take it a step further, take all of your money out of the bank. Every single one of you watching this video, take your money out of the bank and go tell your friends and your family to take their money out of the bank. We can fix this problem and just bring this to an end, because right now they're not prepared to usher in the central bank digital currency. It's coming. Fed now is a precursor to it. It's not the central bank digital currency, but they're not prepared quite yet to launch this, which is why they're trying to keep the banking system on life support, which it's been since 2007, 2008. So this zombie banking system is just, we need to pull the plug.
All right, and
before they come out with a solution.
It reminds me of the quote, sometimes to fix the wheel, you must break it. Well, hopefully we can patch it up without, you know, losing all our spokes here. And Tim, you brought up a really good point, and I haven't really heard too many people talk about this in particular. You said it's not so much, you know, retail buying the top. They see Bitcoin, it looks shiny. That's not why they're heading in that direction. They're heading in that direction because over here, everything's on fire. So let us know in the comments. Are they going because Bitcoin's shiny, or are they going because the banks are on fire? Type in shiny. They just love Bitcoin. Type in fire. If they're just fleeing for any exit they could find. I'm interested to know what the Chaniacs, is that what we're calling?
I'm sure it's going to be
I
a
want to
lot
know
of
what
fire in the chat.
All right. Well, Rice TVX, what do you think is going to be a bigger narrative next bull market? Because I agree right now it's probably people running from a fire. But what about when, I'm saying when like it's a inevitability, but what about the possibility where the banking crisis is starting to fail and we're a year past the high having, and it's just the local top of a bull market? What is going to be more attractive to people? Hey, Bitcoin's close to 100K. I bet $1 million next. Or, oh, wow, my brother just lost all his life savings because the bank said no.
During that time period, I think it's going to be because people are going to want freedom and have that privacy that CBDCs are not going to offer. Because I definitely think by then, I think the governments, central banks will be ready to all around the world have their central bank digital currency in effect. What I want to add with what I was talking about earlier too is if you want to use banking, if you have to use banking for any reason, use credit unions because they're not under the FDIC. They fall under something completely different. So that's something that people can use. And I agree 100% with what Tim said. Don't leave anything more in the bank than you can afford to lose. That you need to look at it just like you would with crypto in that aspect. So that's why I say don't leave more in the bank than you actually need to cover what you have to pay out, because at this time it's going to be a lot easier for you as an individual to go and deposit money. It may be a pain, may not be the easiest thing for you to go do that, but it'll be a lot harder for you to withdraw that money. I've heard numerous stories from people, just more so recently, but I've heard it over the past year, where basically if you're trying to withdraw any sorts of large amounts of money, you're going to be running into problems with the bank. You're going to have to give some sort of notice. It could be even up to like 5 business days, I've heard, or longer, depending on the amount that you want to withdraw. So this is all about confidence. That's why they say this is a con game. And people now are starting to wake up and lose confidence, but it's only because of what's happening. And really, the other thing that I really want to encourage people to do is not close your bank account up at some small bank and go to one of these too big to fail banks, because that's the other problem that we're feeding as well, is that people are jumping from these smaller little boats to a bigger boat that they feel like is safe. So you can survive without using a bank. You can. It's not the easiest thing to do in the world either, but you can survive this way. So you have choices, but you need to take action. That would just be the most important thing that I feel like I can stress today to everybody, and to also, again, because this information really does need to be shared, because it's only going to get worse. I've been saying this for quite some time. It's going to get worse before it gets better, and we haven't even seen it get worse yet.
All right. Good take there. I agree pretty much everything you're saying there. I think that is all we had time for. I think Rice's alter ego, he took it home. It was the shades, man. I know it was the shades. Maybe it was the bandana. I don't know. But Rice TVX, you ended up taking it home. Feel free. Leave us with some parting thoughts until the weekend, please.
Oh, well, thank you again. I definitely encourage everybody to make sure that they're following all the guests, my channel. Everything's linked down below. I have Rice TVX and Rice Against the Grain. I would encourage you, let's pull the plug on the life support of this banking system. Let's take the power away from the bankers. Unbank yourself. Use cash, because cash is king right now, because it doesn't give power to the banks. I appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend. Get outside and touch ground.
All right. Unbanked. It's not just a podcast, although we like them too. It's a movement, and it starts with you.
I do hope you found value in today's video, and I do hope you accept my challenge to unbank or decouple yourself from the banks and take away their power. Make sure you're subscribed here at Rice TVX, as well as my other channel, Rice Against the Grain. Make sure you smash that like button, and I will leave you with this. I encourage you to be a blessing to others, treat people how you want to be treated, be the glitch that you want to see in the matrix, be the change that you want to see in this world. And until next time, practice change.